Is 45 Colt strong enough for dangerous wildlife protection? How's it going, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. My name is Chad and this is the Hopeful Homestead. You're sitting out here right now next to my little tiny cabin on wheels that I've parked out at my family's little campsite I built here on our 21-acre property that we're calling the Hopeful Homestead. A place that we're going to be building our forever home on here over the next few months. But in this series of videos, Coffee Talk, I like to sit out here with a cup of coffee in hand and discuss things with all the husbands and dads out there that, talk about all the difficult things we have to deal with in life. And as we discuss many times on this channel, pretty much the majority of the time on this channel, we're discussing firearms. Because that's a central part of defense of your family, of being a husband and father, protecting your family, protecting your loved ones. For me, specifically, being here, this is our homestead here is backing up to a 20,000 acre wildlife preserve. So we've got all kinds of dangerous wildlife wandering onto our property here in South Florida. Heavy 200-300 pound wild boar, Florida panthers, big old alligators coming out of the wetlands. We've got all kinds of things, not to mention coyotes and bobcats and a myriad of other things, snakes, all kinds of stuff that firearms you pretty much need to have on your person if you're going to be outside here in the rural countryside of South Florida. And so that brings me to the subject of, is 45 Colt enough for dangerous wildlife protection? I've broken this down many times on this channel, and I truly do believe that 45 Colt is more than enough for pretty much any scenario of a wildlife defense scenario you could encounter, especially here in South Florida. We don't have grizzlies here. We barely even have black bear. There's mostly up in Central Florida. We have the occasional black bear could appear here if it wanders this far south, but it's very rare. So for the most part, you're dealing with 200 to 300 pound animals that are in the ballpark of wild boar, Florida panthers, alligators that could be heavier than that. Still, 45 Colt is going to be more than enough for any of those animals because you're not trying to penetrate so deep that you need to be able to go multiple feet deep into a massive animal to be able to make a deadly hit. And so even with medium loads of 45 Colt, it can be serviceable out here for wildlife defense. But even in a scenario, if you're in an area of the world where there's grizzlies, where there's big old animals that you got to defend yourself from, 45 Colt, if you're using the right kind of gun, not necessarily a single action army clone like this, but if you're using a Ruger Blackhawk or something that's a larger frame, heavier duty revolver, or especially a rifle that can handle it, 45 Colt that is loaded to its max potential, where you're actually carrying a 300 or 400 grain bullet and enough pressure to be able to push in that bullet at really crazy high velocities, the amount of energy that that's carrying, that is going to have no problem penetrating deep enough, even in a grizzly, to be able to protect yourself in a wildlife defense scenario. And so that's one of the reasons I like 45 Colt so much, is it's so versatile, and that it can be a lighter load in a single action army revolver like this that you can defend yourself with in other scenarios where you're not having to worry about deep penetration like that. And the same cartridge can be loaded up to crazy velocities and crazy heavy loads that is great for hunting, great for being a serious hunting round or a serious big game wildlife defense round. That makes 45 Colt one of the most versatile cartridges out there, and certainly it's worthwhile for defending yourself in a wildlife scenario. I think that's going to do it for today's video. Just a short little quick one, but thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Again, my name is Chad. This is the Hopeful Homestead. And if you feel like sticking around, I got a video right here all about why I love 45 Colt and 22 long rifle so much. Those two cartridges are my favorite for a reason. So go check that out, and I'll see you over in that video. Thanks, guys.